So welcome to week 3 of your challenge. I hope things have been going really well and you've started to plan for your hero and think about your 3-course meal and your drink. So today we're going to be talking about nutrition and how it's so important to ensure you get really good balance across your whole meal for your hero. So some really important things that you need to know about. So your body requires a whole host of different nutrients to function properly and to keep you in really good health. And those nutrients are kind of broken down into 2 big groups. You've got macronutrients, which you need in larger quantities, and these are fats, protein and carbohydrate. And then you also require micronutrients, so you need those in a lot smaller quantities, and that's your vitamins and your minerals. So in your workbook on page 12, which I've got here, you've got broken down this information. So you've got about the fats, the protein, carbohydrates and the vitamins and minerals. Just to tell you a little bit about all of those and why we need them. So fats are really important for the body. They do provide energy, but they're very important for all the structure of all the cells in the body and also vital for brain development and function. So fats are really important. Sources of fats, really healthy sources of fats, are things like avocados, they're quite fatty, olive oil, nuts, seeds, they all contain really good healthy fats. Things like meat also do contain fats as well. So carbohydrates provide fuel for the body. They convert very rapidly in the body to glucose, which is a fuel for energy. So it then fuels the body to be able to run quickly, for all the body functions to work really successfully. So carbohydrates are important for that reason. And you'll see that on your nutritional plate here at the bottom of the page, there are quite a lot of different carbohydrates. So you can get carbohydrates as pasta, rice, potato. They're all refined carbohydrates. But we're looking for more whole grains because whole grains provide a slower release of energy, so they're much more healthy for the body. So things like brown rice, brown pasta, and also root vegetables are very high in carbohydrates and also are slower to release because they contain quite a lot of fibre. So that helps to slow down the release of the sugar from the carbohydrates as well. And all vegetables and fruit are also carbohydrates. So when we're looking at a plate and we're looking at balance, we're thinking about at least half the plate containing salad, leafy vegetables or other vegetables, and a quarter containing those carbohydrates such as the root vegetables, the pasta, the rice or the bread. Okay, and the other macronutrient that you need to know about is protein. Now, protein is absolutely vital for growth and repair of the body. So absolutely key for children, most significant for sports people as well who do a lot of exercise and need a lot of repair to happen in their bodies. So some sources of protein, you can have animal sources or you can have plant sources of protein. So animal sources are things like meat, fish, eggs and dairy products, so cheese and milk. And then plant-based sources are things like nuts, seeds, lentils and beans. So if your hero is a vegetarian, you're going to need to think about the plant-based sources of protein. So aside from macronutrients, we have micronutrients, and we need those in much smaller quantities, and they're vitamins and minerals. So we have fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E and K, and we find those in fat alongside nature, so in meat and fish. And we also have other vitamins like B vitamins and vitamin C. And minerals, very common minerals out there that we need in our bodies are things like zinc, magnesium and iron. And we get all of those nutrients by eating a whole variety of different foods. So it's really important that we eat lots of different foods and also that we eat a rainbow, because if we eat a rainbow of whole different colours of fruits and vegetables, then we can ensure that our bodies get all the micronutrients that they need as well. What you also might need to think about in your menu for your hero is allergies. Now your teacher will have a poster which will explain some common allergies that are out there, but things to just be aware of. So you can swap things like yogurt in your recipes for things like soya yogurt. You can swap milk for oat milks or rice milk, so as alternatives for people that have allergies to lactose or milk. And if people have allergies to gluten, then you can opt for some gluten-free options, so different flours, different bread, different pasta as alternatives. So what I'm going to show you now is in this lesson you're going to talk now about the macronutrients, the micronutrients and the balance on your plate, but then you're going to think about creating a smoothie. So thinking about the carbohydrates, the protein and the fats, we're going to create one together. So you've got a very similar smoothie maker to me in your school. So you've got something like this, which you're going to load up with your fruit, your vegetables and your liquid, and then you're going to blend it. So I'm going to include frozen fruit. So obviously this is a carbohydrate, so it's going to produce a fair amount of energy for the body. And I've gone frozen because I like my smoothies to be quite icy and slushy. So if you don't choose frozen fruit, you can include ice cubes in your smoothie and that will serve the same purpose. So I've chosen blackberries, blueberries, raspberries and strawberries in there. So a nice rainbow of colours. So I've got my purple and my red there. I'm going to include some vegetables. So vegetables we've got on our plates, really important to get some vegetables in there. There's lots of different vegetables that are great in a smoothie, which I'm sure you're going to talk about in this lesson, but I'm going to use spinach, you can use kale, you can use broccoli, you can also use beetroot, carrot, and also they're going to change the colour of your smoothie, so that's also quite interesting. Now I've talked about protein. It's really important we get the protein in there for the growth and repair. So in my smoothie I'm going to include some yogurt, so it's a dairy product and it's a source of protein for the body. So if I had an allergy to dairy, then I could perhaps choose a coconut yogurt or a soya yogurt as an alternative, and that wouldn't contain dairy. And then we talked about some good fats. So I've got some mixed seeds here, pumpkin, linseeds and sesame and sunflower seeds. So I'm going to add some of those as a source of fats and protein. They contain both fat and protein. And then I need to think about my liquid. So you can include milk, you could include water. I'm going to use some coconut water in this recipe, so I'm just going to pour that in. Banana also works really well in this kind of smoothie. So you put all your ingredients in together, you'll pop on the lid for your smoothie maker and then you literally just blend it up. So I'm going to push it down and it'll just take a couple of minutes to blend. So when that's all blended, you can pour it into a glass and you can do a little taste test and you can see if it's tasty or not, but also really importantly you need to think about, have you thought about the balance in that smoothie as well. So just to recap, when you're planning your meal I want you to think about a quarter of the plate being protein, half of the plate being leafy vegetables, salad or other vegetables, and then a quarter of the plate being either whole grains, so your bread, your rice, your pasta, or root vegetables. And that should ensure that you get a really good balance of nutrients across the whole plate for your hero. So I wish you all the best for the challenge and really think about the nutrition for your hero.